So I really desperately needed to update this video. Oh my god, witchcraft videos are coming back. No, don't get excited. Don't get your hopes up. I just really needed to update this video. I got burnt out for a few years on reading Witchcraft 101 books, or just really like any kind of occult book, because all of them are the same now. With how easy it is to produce a book and print a book and distribute a book, anybody can do it, which is fantastic because anybody can do it. So I've seen people and some of my friends who are incredible writers and have really awesome information and needed information out to share. But then I've also read the same book over and over and over, and it's all mass produced. I swear to God, they're copy and pasting it, and they're just giving it to anybody who has a platform so that they can make money. I know this because publishing houses have reached out to me multiple times and been like, you should write a book. And I'm like, I don't want to write a book. I don't know how many times I've told you, I don't want to write a book. And they are like, you could just pick anything. We could even have somebody help you write it. And you just have to like slap your name on it essentially. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Anyway, that rant aside, I have a lot of books to get through. So I'm not going to go in depth, but I am just going to kind of give you an idea of why I think anybody who is just beginning into the witchy realm or just wants to kind of create a practice of their own, why I would suggest these books to you. Otherwise, I'm not going to like do a deep dive. Okay, let's get started. I also want to preface that I am a folk practitioner, okay? I don't really work with astrology yet, maybe someday, but right now I don't really work with astrology. I don't really work with deities. I am much more of a local practitioner. I work with local plant allies, nature spirits, local spirits, as well as spirits of the dead. So that's kind of where I'm coming from, traditional type of folk craft, okay? So if you're looking for something different, maybe go somewhere else. But these are the books that I would recommend. First of all, New World Witchery. This one's a chunky book, okay? He's thick. And there are a ton of written out spells. So I know that a lot of people love just tell me what to do instead of giving you, ideas that you can build your own. This straight up is like, take these things, put them together, and this is the spell. Also, it gives you a history and an idea of North American folk magic and just where a lot of these practices came from, why these certain things are the way they are, like why poppets were used and why we pee in a jar and bury it in the front of our homes. It's also a really easy read. It's really fascinating and gives you what to do. Like, it tells you exactly how to make charms, how to make spells. So this is a fantastic book to start with. The next one, working off of American folk magic. Folklore is a huge aspect of where a lot of magical ideas and practices have come from. This is Cunning Words by Marshall, the Witch of Southern Light. Yes, I did plug this book because I think this is a fantastic book. And when he was writing it, I was very honored to be somebody who he sent a lot of the stories to. So I got to read all of them in their first go, in their first draft. All of these are stories. Think of like bedtime stories that teach you a lesson. That sounded really dark, but like that teach you how to craft certain spells, when to use certain things through a story aspect. That is this book. I would even read these to my niece and nephews as bedtime stories. Not all of them, because some of them are definitely adult only stories, but read through them first, and some of these are really great tales if you are kind of like a witchy parent or auntie, uncle. Also, I don't have the physical edition, but Marshall also already has his second book of this out, so if you like this one, there is a second one, and it is called The Red Mother. And also, same thing, bunch of folklore stories and lessons on how to craft and weave magic within those stories. I believe there's also a grimoire, so even if you wanted like lists of things or how to make the spell, I'm pretty sure there is a grimoire in the back of that book. Okay, so this next one, this one has been on my list forever, and I'm so glad that I finally got to read it. It's called Jumbalaya, the Natural Woman's Book. This one is written more of a memoir, because I suppose it kind of is, and it's really just such a good idea of how she worked magic into her everyday life and kind of the lessons that she learned within her spiritual journey and in her path. It is very woman-centric. That doesn't mean that if you're more on the mask identifying side, then you shouldn't read it. Like that, I feel like that's the opposite. There's a lot of really good information and some very basic like cleansing, protection work, very accessible spells in here that also include community and different coven and different group type of magic things. I just could feel that this person put so much intention and so much love, and there is magic worked into this book. Like just holding it, reading through it, I just could tell that there is energy that was infused within these words, and it holds. So I really enjoyed this book. It's definitely an oldie, but I would consider a goodie still. All right, we're still working off of folk magic, okay? This next book is similar to the Cunning Words, where it's folk stories, but you see the witchcraft and the magic woven in. This is the Black Book of Jonathan Notbristle. So this one, super easy read. There is stories that are woven in with Jonathan and kind of his experience and kind of how he starts connecting with the spirits around him and the folkloric devil, how he uses his magic in order to better his life and better the people around him. So it's super easy read. I actually had a lot of fun reading this, and it's got a lot of really good information when it comes to American folk magic. So this is more on the darker side of witchcraft, and the reason I say darker is just because, not like saying you should go hex and do all this crazy baneful whatever and dig up corpses. I say darker because a lot of the internet has this aspect of witchcraft, of love and light and Wicca based things, where that's fine. If you stray at all away from that, people get testy with it. So darker. That does not mean bad. It just means that you're willing to work with aspects and energies, allies, and spirits that I think some people just aren't comfortable with working with, or at least maybe just not publicly. I don't know. Of Blood and Bones, I'm pretty sure this book was recommended by me in that first 101 book recommendation. But this one has a lot of stuff that, honestly, if I would have loved this as a practitioner when I was first starting out as a kid at the very, very beginning, because this one gets you a lot more comfortable and gives you a better understanding of just working with things that are kind of on the other end of the spectrum of the love and light, covering yourself with white light and all of that side. Even if you are a light worker, I still think it's worth understanding the darker aspects of the craft and the darker energies and spirits and things of that, because at some point you are going to interact with these if you are a practitioner of any kind. So if you don't know how to work with them, or at least even just how to acknowledge them, that will throw a big obstacle in your way. So like just understanding, even if you don't plan to work, I think is going to be really beneficial to anybody's craft. Okay, next one. Still folk magic. Shocking, I know. Icelandic folk magic. This is written by Albert, and he has, oh my god, he has incredible information. And when I met him, I got the lovely chance of meeting him while in Iceland when I was doing that group trip. He was so sweet and held a free workshop for everybody who came on how to create your own staves. They're essentially sigils using all these different alphabets. So that really changed how I made a lot of my sigils, because I love any kind of Nordic and Celtic practice. I think it's just beautiful. They're just really fun to create. Another reason why I heavily suggest this book is because this gives you a really good understanding of how to work with local spirits. And whether you're a practitioner who works with local spirits or plans to or not, again, having an understanding of what that means and how to even begin to do that is so important. Even the people who I know, who are like even teachers of mine who don't really work with local spirits, still acknowledge and give offerings to them, because at the end of the day, you're doing work, you're doing magical work on their land. It's a whole thing. It's explained in this book. It's really fantastic, and it gives you a lot of good ideas on how to give offerings, how to work with them, how to do all that. Next one, still shameless plug, The Green Witch's Guide to Herbal Magic by Annabelle Margaret. Yes, again, I am friends with this person. Hey, look, I just have really cool friends. What can I say? I'm blessed. I watched her write this, or at least parts of it, and it was grueling, okay? She put so much, I think it was like 2 years of work into this. There is a whole chapter on intent. And that was one of the chapters that's like, how do you write about that? How do you write about intent? And she did it. She wrote a full chapter on how to put intent into things and what that meant and what that felt like and how to properly charge things. And that's really difficult to do because a lot of the time it's like, just really want it. Anyway, this also doesn't just go over magical aspects. It is interwoven with an herbal practice. So if you're looking into getting an herbal practice and using that as a magical practice, this is a really good start. Okay, working off of local spirits, this is urban magic. So I know that a lot of us don't live in these beautiful forest enchanted off the grid areas that's the dream for most of us, right? But a lot of us don't live there. That does not mean that you can't work with local spirits. This is going to be your guide on how to work with the local spirits of your city. And cities are really, really interesting energies because they are not these ancient things, right? Please don't eat that bean. I know, don't eat that. This is just really great for any city practitioner. So if you are like, oh my God, I'm in an apartment, I'm in a studio apartment and I want to do a practice, but like, how do I do that? Because of course, on the internet, all of these YouTube, Instagram witches, which no shame, live your life and you're living our dream. Thank you for letting me live vicariously through you. But not all of us live in a cottage in the woods as much as we would love that, or live on, you know, the beach side and can be these majestic sea witches. Not all of us do that. Some of us, such as yours truly, has lived a lot of their lives in apartments in the middle of cities. So this is a great one. Moving on, local spirits, but make it the dead. You know, I'm more of a death worker. I work with spirits of the dead. I go to the cemeteries a lot and just kind of commune with them. The energy or the spirit of death itself has so much to teach us as living beings, especially. So the first one that I would say is a really great place to start is a spirit work primer. This one was a really easy read. It helps you kind of understand how to start tuning in to hearing spirits and kind of interacting with them. It also explains offerings, when to give what to give, when, how to give, how to interact with them, how to protect yourself, how to banish, all that good stuff. Is the beginner's book in working with spirits in general, but especially spirits of the dead. We can get into that next. Next one is the Book of Seances by Claire Goodchild. So this not only is a beautiful book of Claire's beautiful art, it's this beautiful antique style, and it's all the way through this book. She is the designer, creator of the Antique Anatomy Tarot, as well as the Memento Mori. She has a bunch of decks. I'll link everything down below. But this is a really great place as well to start with working specifically of the spirits of the dead. Gives you a whole guideline of how to be respectful when you're entering cemeteries, when you're communing with spirits that are not of your ancestors or just in general, but it is actually heavy on really focusing on your ancestors. Anybody who was in the line of creating you who you are. So even if it wasn't blood ancestors, that is touched on. But if you want something even more in depth with working with your ancestors, Claire Goodchild's Book of Ancestors is also a really great place to go because she talks all about of how to even find your ancestry. What if you're adopted? What if there's ancestors that were garbage people and we don't want to talk to them? How to begin creating relationships with ancestors that we've never met. All of that stuff, all in here, okay? And still littered with incredible and beautiful art. Okay, we are in the home stretch, so now I'm gonna give you a couple of other things. This next one is all about hexes, curses, and all of the baneful types of working. This is called Utterly Wicked. And this is a fantastic book to start with, just even, again, understanding baneful work. And again, if you are like, I do not hex, I do not curse, that is against my moral code, that's fine. But it's good to understand these things because what if somebody comes to you, or what if you yourself get hexed or cursed, how are you going to know how to undo that? Gotta know the poison if you're gonna treat it. Planetary spells and rituals. So if you are looking to work with planetary energies, which I have started doing a little more and more, and I've seen a lot of really great success in it, this is a really great book to start with. And there's a lot of explanations of how to work with certain planets I have not really seen in other books. Like, there's a better explanation of how to work with a specific planet that's not just, oh, I'm gonna work with Venus for love. Like, that's revolutionary. There's an understanding of how to work with Venus for a job, for abundance, or even malefic things, you know? So it's a really great, so this one I think was probably hands down the best planetary book that I've read in my opinion, that was just also like easy to read. A lot of the other planetary books I feel like read very similar to an instruction manual, and I don't want to read them. That's just me. But the next one is Hands-on Chaos Magic. I'm always weary about like chaos magic stuff because I feel like a lot of the people in the chaos realm don't usually turn out to be amazing. So hopefully this author isn't terrible. I'm not in the realm, like, socially as much as you would think. So I don't really know what's going on, to be totally honest. But this was just a fun one because there are exercises, like just straight up exercises that are from level 1. You've never done energy manipulation ever in your life and you don't know how to do that. Level 1 on how to begin, and then it works yourself up. So it gives you little foundation blocks that you can just keep on building. And I really like that because it's really practical, it's effective. These were fun because I actually did end up doing some of these with other people, and we were all like, whoa, that actually works. Kind of spooky, but it was cool. If you like chaos magic and you are just desperate to find somebody who is not problematic, Ivy Corvus, here on YouTube, on Instagram. She is an incredible chaos magician. So again, linked up here, down below, all the things. And I've done collaborations. I've met her in person. She's just overall fantastic. So if you're looking for somebody who is not problematic in the chaos magician world, Ivy Corvus is a good place to start. Okay, last but not least, Elements of Spellcrafting. This one was one that I got as soon as I was open about my craft, and holy shit, I'm so glad, because this actually broke down how to build a spell. So, and not in like a fluffy way. I don't know. This one explains how to do certain spells and why to do them, as well as like how to make your craft actually effective, instead of just like lighting a candle and being like, I hope for this, right? Which is fine, but there's other ways to tackle a situation magically in order to get the best results. And this book explains that exactly. Whew, okay, that is my updated version. If you have any comments, or if you have any additions, any books that you felt like touching or very changing for your practice, leave them down below. I got really burnt out really easily on especially Witchcraft 101 books. Like, I can't, if somebody tries to hand me a f***ing 101 book one more time and it's just a copy and paste from the last 8 that I've read, I'm going to explode. So these are not 101 books, but they are beginner friendly. I think there's so much information in these books that if you splurged right now and you just bought all of these books, I really do think that you would have some sort of practice already off the bat if you actually applied these things. Best of luck. If you have any other books that you would like to add to this, or if you have any comments, leave them down below. Leave a like, that actually helps a lot. A lot of you have been saying that you haven't been seeing my videos. Honestly, I think it's just because YouTube is starting to push smaller creators, which I think is fantastic. So if you are a smaller YouTuber, keep going. Keep going. I also have a Patreon, so there's a lot of spell videos over there. There's sigils over there. There are weekly readings. There's extended vlogs. There are also exclusive videos only just for Patreon over there, as well as tutorials on all of the choreography that I do for pole, if that's something that you're interested in. I've got a ton of stuff over there. So if you are interested and you want to support my channel and all of the work that I do, then that will be over on Patreon. I do end up doing a lot more witchy stuff on Patreon, and that's been a lot better for my mental health and just for my craft in general of sharing that. But yeah, that's it. That's all I've got for you. As always, thank you so much for watching. Best of luck, be kind to each other, and may your gods treat you as you've treated others. And make sure to stay curious, because you never know what you might learn. Bye.